Did you know that by the time we celebrate our 60th birthday, our bodies have already begun a silent, invisible retreat? Statistics show that after age 60, the average American loses about 3% to 5% of their muscle mass every single decade. That is not just a clinical number. It is the reason why that jar of pickles feels heavier than it used to, or why the stairs seem a little steeper each year. It is a condition we doctors call sarcopenia, and for many it feels like losing a bit of independence every day. But thousands of miles away on the Blue Zone Islands of Okinawa, Japan, things are different. There you will see 90-year-olds kneeling in their gardens for hours, their limbs sturdy and their movements fluid. They aren't doing anything extreme. They are simply practicing a wisdom that allows them to rebuild strength without ever stepping foot in a gym or changing their entire pantry. Today, I want to show you how to bring that Okinawan secret into your American kitchen so you can reclaim the strength you thought was gone forever. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from and what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. As a doctor, I often explain to my patients that muscle is much more than just a tool for lifting heavy objects. It is the armor of our longevity. When this armor thins out, our bones become vulnerable, and our metabolism slows down to a crawl. In our fast-paced American lifestyle, we often treat our bodies like a car that we forget to drive, letting the engine rust in the garage. We sit more, and when we do eat, we often consume large, heavy meals that overwhelm our aging digestive systems. This creates a disconnect where the protein you eat never actually reaches your muscles. Think of it like a delivery truck that arrives at your house, but the front door is jammed shut. The Okinawans have a different perspective. They view the body not as a machine that breaks down, but as a garden that needs constant, gentle tending. They understand that muscle loss isn't an inevitable cliff we fall off, but a path we can choose to steer away from by changing how we perceive our daily nourishment. Understanding why this happens is the first step, but the real magic lies in how we handle our meals, starting with a rule that has kept Okinawans lean and strong for centuries. It is called Hara Hachi Bu, which simply means eating until you are only 80% full. To an American ear, this might sound like a diet or a form of deprivation, but in the Japanese tradition, it is an act of deep respect for the stomach. When we stuff ourselves to 100% capacity, our bodies divert all their energy toward the grueling task of digestion, leaving very little fuel left to actually repair and rebuild muscle fibers. By leaving that 20% of space, you allow your digestive enzymes to work efficiently like a well-oiled factory. I remember a patient of mine named Robert, a retired teacher from Ohio, who struggled with constant fatigue and weak legs. He didn't change what he ate, he still enjoyed his roasted chicken and potatoes, but he started pausing halfway through his meal to ask himself if he was still hungry or just eating out of habit. Within weeks, he felt a lightness in his step and noticed that the persistent cramps in his calves began to fade. It's not just about how much you eat, but the rhythm of your body, which leads us to a simple shift in your daily schedule that costs nothing but yields everything. Once you align your protein with your body's clock, you'll notice a change in energy, but this requires us to rethink our traditional American dinner. We often save our biggest piece of meat for the end of the day, but in the Japanese philosophy of shokuiku, or food education, every meal is an opportunity to nourish the soul and the cells equally. The Okinawans believe in Ishoku Dogen, the idea that food and medicine come from the same source. To rebuild your muscles, your body needs a steady drip of protein throughout the day, rather than one giant flood at night. If you love your Sunday roast or a juicy steak, you don't have to give it up. Instead, imagine slicing that steak into smaller, thin portions and enjoying a bit with your breakfast or lunch. This simple shift ensures that your muscles have the building blocks they need to repair themselves while you are active during the day, rather than letting that heavy protein sit in your stomach while you sleep. Once you align your protein with your body's clock, you'll notice a change in energy, but there are 5 specific common foods in your pantry right now that can work even harder for you if used correctly. While these foods rebuild your frame from the inside, let's look at the humble egg, a staple in almost every American fridge. In Japan, the egg is treated with immense respect, often seen as a complete source of life energy. To help your muscles, try not to just scramble them in a hurry. Instead, think of them as a protein gift. When you enjoy an egg, you are getting high-quality leucine, an amino acid that acts like a key unlocking the door for muscle growth. I often tell my patients to enjoy their eggs poached or lightly boiled, similar to the onsen tamago in Japan, where the yolk remains creamy. This preserves the delicate nutrients that help strengthen your tissues without adding the heavy fats often found in fried breakfasts. The second powerhouse hiding in your kitchen is Greek yogurt. While not a traditional Japanese food, its high protein content aligns perfectly with the Okinawan goal of maintaining bone and muscle density. The Japanese have a beautiful concept called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold, making it stronger and more beautiful than before. Think of Greek yogurt as the gold for your aging bones and muscles. It provides the calcium and protein needed to mend the tiny micro-tears in your muscle fibers that happen as we age. Try stirring in a little bit of honey or a few berries and eat it slowly, savoring the texture, just as a Japanese tea master savors a bowl of matcha. This mindfulness helps your body prepare to absorb every single mineral. Next, we look to the crunch of nuts, such as almonds and walnuts, which many Americans keep as a snack. In Okinawa, small snacks are often mindful moments rather than mindless grazing. Nuts are packed with magnesium, a mineral that is vital for preventing those painful midnight leg cramps that keep many of you awake. When your magnesium levels are low, your muscles struggle to relax after they contract. By incorporating a small handful of nuts into your day, perhaps as a topping for your oatmeal, you are following the Japanese principle of motinai, ensuring that no part of your health is wasted and every nutrient is utilized to keep your limbs limber and pain-free. We cannot talk about rebuilding muscle without mentioning fish, such as salmon or mackerel. The people of Okinawa have a deep connection to the sea, and their diet is rich in omega-3 fatty acids. For an American senior, a piece of baked salmon can be a miracle for stiff joints and tired muscles. These healthy fats act like oil for a rusty hinge, reducing inflammation that often makes movement feel like a chore. Instead of heavy breading and deep frying, try seasoning your fish with simple herbs and lemon, mimicking the clean, natural flavors of Japanese cuisine. This allows the anti-inflammatory properties to work directly on your muscle tissues, helping them feel more resilient and less heavy when you wake up in the morning. Finally, let us consider the foundation of many American meals, grains like oats or quinoa. In the Japanese household, grains are seen as the energy of the earth that provides long-lasting stamina. After 60, our bodies can struggle with energy spikes and crashes, which leaves us too tired to even take a short walk. By choosing whole grains over white bread or sugary cereals, you are providing your muscles with a steady supply of fuel. This is much like the slow-burning coals in a traditional Japanese hearth. It gives you the strength to stay active throughout the day, which in turn signals your body to keep its muscle mass rather than breaking it down for energy. A heart that feels connected leads to a body that feels strong, and that strength often begins with a beautiful Japanese concept called Moai. In the islands of Okinawa, a Moai is a lifelong circle of friends who support one another socially, financially, and emotionally. But for those of us over 60 here in America, we often find ourselves eating our meals alone in front of a television or a tablet. This loneliness does more than just sadden the spirit. It actually affects your muscles. When we feel isolated, our bodies produce a stress hormone called cortisol. High levels of cortisol act like a muscle thief, breaking down your hard-earned muscle tissue to use for emergency energy that you don't actually need. I want to share the story of a patient of mine named Margaret, a sweet grandmother from South Carolina. She was struggling with severe leg weakness and had lost her appetite after her husband passed away. Her muscles were wasting away because she simply didn't feel like cooking for one. I suggested she start a Sunday potluck Moai with 2 neighbors. They didn't change their recipes, they just started eating together once a week. The laughter and conversation lowered her cortisol and triggered the release of oxytocin, a hormone that promotes healing and muscle repair. Within 3 months, Margaret wasn't just walking better, she was thriving. She rediscovered that when you share a meal, your body absorbs nutrients better because you are in a state of rest and digest. You can bring the spirit of Moai into your life without needing to move to Japan. It can be as simple as a weekly phone call with a friend while you both enjoy your lunch, or joining a local community center for a meal. By surrounding yourself with a social safety net, you are giving your muscles the hormonal environment they need to stay firm and resilient. Remember, the strongest muscles are those built with the support of others. This sense of belonging is the invisible nutrient that many American seniors are missing, and it is just as important as the protein on your plate. A heart that feels connected leads to a body that feels strong, and that strength is best maintained through movements that feel like a dance rather than a chore. As a doctor, I see many patients over 60 who are afraid of the word exercise because it reminds them of painful gym sessions or heavy weights. But in Japan, there is a century-old tradition called radio taiso, or radio calisthenics. Every morning, millions of Japanese seniors gather in parks or tune into the radio in their living rooms to follow a rhythmic 3-minute routine of gentle movements. They aren't trying to build massive muscles like bodybuilders. They are lubricating their joints and reminding their muscles how to work together. For an American senior, this is the perfect way to protect your muscle mass without the risk of injury or exhaustion. One of the key movements in radio taiso involves large, slow arm circles. Imagine you are drawing a giant sun in the air with your fingertips. This simple motion stretches the chest and engages the muscles in your upper back and shoulders, which often become stiff from sitting. When you do this, you are improving blood flow to your limbs, carrying those Okinawan-style nutrients we talked about directly to your muscle fibers. I suggest my patients try this right in their living room, perhaps, while waiting for their morning coffee to brew. It takes no special equipment, just a willingness to move with grace and kindness toward your own body. Another beautiful movement is the gentle side-to-side sway, much like a bamboo tree bending in a light breeze. This helps with balance and strengthens the small stabilizing muscles around your hips and ankles. As we age, these tiny muscles are the ones that prevent falls and give us the confidence to walk on uneven grass or down a flight of stairs. By moving naturally and rhythmically, you are following the Japanese philosophy of active rest. You aren't forcing your body, you are inviting it to remain strong. This movement wakes the muscles, but to keep them firing and prevent those painful midnight cramps, we must look at the forgotten element of the Okinawan longevity puzzle, the water you drink. Movement wakes the muscles, but to keep them firing and prevent those painful midnight cramps, we must look at the forgotten element of the Okinawan longevity puzzle, the water you drink. In Japan, there is a deep respect for water, often captured in the phrase mizu no kokoro, or a mind like water. For a senior in America, staying hydrated isn't just about drinking 8 glasses a day, it's about making sure that water actually reaches your muscle cells. As we age, our bodies lose the ability to detect thirst, and our muscles become like a dry sponge that can no longer absorb nutrients efficiently. If you wake up in the middle of the night with a sharp pain in your calf, your body is likely crying out for minerals and hydration. One simple Okinawan-inspired habit is to start your day with a warm glass of water, much like the ritual of a morning tea ceremony. This wakes up your internal organs and prepares your muscles for the day's activity. But plain water sometimes isn't enough to stop cramps. You can enhance your hydration by adding a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to your water, mimicking the mineral-rich teas found in Japan. This provides the electrolytes magnesium and potassium that act like electrical signals telling your muscles when to contract and, more importantly, when to relax. Another wonderful way to hydrate is through warm broths similar to the traditional Japanese miso soup. For my American patients, I suggest a simple low-sodium chicken or vegetable broth enjoyed with lunch. These liquids are much easier for an aging digestive system to process than cold, icy drinks. They provide a gentle warmth that improves circulation and carries vital minerals directly to those tired joints and muscles. By choosing warm, mineral-rich liquids, you are ensuring that your inner garden remains lush and hydrated even in the heat of summer or the dryness of winter. As the day winds down and your muscles rest from their work, there is one final ritual the Japanese perform to ensure tomorrow begins with even more strength. Remember, the path to a stronger you isn't a sprint. It's a gentle walk through a garden you tend to every day with patience and love. And a large part of that tending happens while you are fast asleep. In Japan, sleep is not seen as lost time, but as a sacred period of restoration. For those over 60, sleep is when the body releases growth hormones that are essential for repairing the micro-tears in your muscles. Without deep sleep, all the healthy protein you eat and the gentle movements you do cannot be fully utilized. To invite this deep rest, we can look at the concept of a Zen bedroom, clutter-free, cool, and quiet. Many Japanese seniors sleep on firm surfaces, which helps keep the spine aligned and supports the bones. While you don't need to sleep on a floor mat, ensuring your mattress provides firm support is crucial for preventing morning back pain. I also recommend a sunset routine for my patients, dimming the lights an hour before bed and avoiding screens. This signals to your brain that it is time to shift from doing to being, allowing your nervous system to relax and your muscles to enter a state of deep repair. Think of your sleep as the final ingredient in your Okinawan muscle rebuilding recipe. When you combine the Hara Hachi Bu way of eating the timing of your protein, the connection of a Moai, and the gentle rhythm of radio taizo sleep becomes the glue that holds it all together. You will find that you wake up not with stiffness, but with a sense of readiness, as if your muscles have been quietly rebuilding themselves in the moonlight. I believe in your strength, and I'm here to walk this path with you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Rebuilding your strength after 60 isn't about drastic changes. It's about these small, gentle shifts inspired by the wisdom of Okinawa. You have the power to protect your independence and enjoy your golden years with vitality. Please remember, the health-related information on YouTube does not apply to everyone and is not medical advice. If you have health concerns, you should contact a doctor or hospital for advice. If you think you have a medical emergency, contact a doctor or call your local emergency number immediately. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Until then, stay strong and stay peaceful.